for me. Okay, are you ready? On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Come in. Okay, boys. Or did I say men?
Men.
Men. Okay. You're hiding. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Looking very serious. One more. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Come in. Okay, shall I start? Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to class. Thank you for coming. It's great to see you all again. And thank you for coming so early to this class. Oh, good morning. How are you? Okay, I hope you've got all something to write with, because what we're going to be doing today for the first half of the lesson, we're going to be looking at the diagram, the process from writing task 1. Okay, I think we haven't practiced this for a while, and I know some people were telling me that they have forgotten how to do this. All right, so in the Ielts exam, of course, you might get this. So we're going to practice that today. So diagram. I also want to talk to you a little bit about how to feel less nervous when you're doing an exam, the Ielts exam, but it will apply to any exam. Okay, I know most people, it's very normal to feel nervous when you're doing an exam. So I just want to give you a little talk about how to make yourself feel more relaxed, okay, when you're doing any test. Because of course, when you get nervous and stressed, sometimes it's hard to do your best. Sometimes it's hard to remember things. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. And then for the last part of the class, we're just going to be looking at some more vocabulary, help you with some vocabulary, which, remember, vocabulary is the key to doing well at any English test. The more words you know and how you know to use them, the better. So that's what the class is going to be today. So first of all, though, what I'm going to do is show you a couple of samples of how to answer the diagram question. Then I'm going to get you to do it. Okay, but first of all, I'm going to look at a couple of the things that other teachers have put online about how to analyze and answer diagram or process questions. Remember, you can see here, diagram and process, they mean the same thing. They mean exactly the same thing. So if you get a diagram question or a process question, they're both the same thing. All they do is they describe, this is, by the way, the one that you're going to be doing later on. All you have to do is describe what happens, okay, in a process from beginning to end. That's all you have to do in this sort of question. So it's a little bit different from the graph and table and chart questions in that you are not dealing with any what, not to. In the table and the chart and the graph questions, what are you dealing with usually? What are you writing about? About begins with N. You're writing about NU. Numbers, correct, good, okay. In the graph, chart, table questions, you're always writing about numbers, okay. Obviously in the process, okay, or diagrams, you are not writing about numbers. You are just describing what happens from beginning to end. So that's the first thing to remember. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is okay, first of all, this one. Hope you can all see the screen all right. Okay. So this one. Okay, so this one I'm looking at comes from the Ielts Liz website, all right, which is quite a good website for any of you who want to look at Ielts information online, for suggestions, for sample questions and answers. The Ielts Liz website is quite a good one. Okay, so as you can see here, this is something she says this diagram has appeared quite a few times in the test, which is why I've chosen it now for you. Okay. The answer, by the way, that we're going to look at for this one is a band 9 answer. If you can write an answer like this, you will get a score of 9. Right. So what you can see here is that okay, I'll get you to read it. Bao Ming, can you read the title for me, please? Can you see?
Is it the diagram shows?
It is. That is.
Diagram shows how rainwater is collected for the use of drinking water in Australia.
Good. The diagram shows how rainwater is collected for the use of drinking water in an Australian town. Thanks, Darling. So all you can see is that this is just telling a story. So all you need to write about in your answer is the story, just describing the story that you can see from beginning to end. You okay, Kian? You're looking a little bit sleepy. So as with all task 1 answers, what is your first paragraph always? A paraphrase, okay? And it is a paraphrase of the title. So it's a paraphrase of this. Okay, that always is your first paragraph. Kakzung, what is the second paragraph always? In a task 1 answer, what is the second paragraph always? Correct, very good. Good memories. Always an overview. So that is still the same. Okay, and then you have 2 detailed paragraphs, of course. So you still do the same structure, always the same structure. But like I said before, this time you are not talking about numbers, you are telling a story. So let's look at the story that this tells us. In fact, before we look at the answer, I will get you to describe it. Okay, so what is, and this is the beginning of the story here. Okay, Bao Ling, okay, what is the first thing that happens in the story? What is the first thing that happens? The rainwater drops onto what? Can you see? Rainwater, that's not at the beginning. Where does the rainwater fall first? Onto the, it's very simple. What is the rainwater falling onto? Yes, the rainwater is falling onto the roof, okay? That is the beginning of the story. The rainwater is falling onto the roof. What happens? What happens to the rainwater next, Charmy? Okay, you can get a little bit closer. How do I zoom this one? Miss Ha, how do I zoom the screen to make it a little bit bigger?
This one.
Yeah.
This one. So I don't know. I mean, which one you like? This one.
Not this one. Ah, where's it gone? Sorry, can we go back now? Yeah. Okay.
to lên rồi nè.
Can we make that a little bit bigger?
Cái này lại không dùng màn cảm ứng. Ok.
Okay, that's better. Thank you. Great. Thank you.
Được chưa con?
Okay, can everyone see the screen, please? Everyone see it? Yeah, that's great. Thank you. But better. Okay, so Chami, where were we? Can you see it now? Okay. So everyone, the beginning of the story is the rainwater is falling on the roof. Correct. Rainwater is falling on the roof. Okay. What happens to the rainwater after it falls on the roof, Chami? It goes down into the drain. Correct. Okay. So you can see here, everyone, this is clear. Rainwater falls on the roof. Okay. It then flows down into the drain. Okay. Remember, the word for water going down is flows. 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 Okay. Once the water flows into the drain, okay, so you can see here, this picture is just a larger version of what is happening here. Okay, so the water flows down into the drain. Okay, next. Pauline, what happens? Okay, the water has gone into the drain, then what happens to it? Okay, so here is the small picture. Okay, this is the large picture. Now we need to look at the bigger picture. Okay? Bigger overall picture. So the water flows down the drain and goes into a what? The water goes into what is this? What is the name for this? Begins with P. A pipe. A pipe. Okay? It's a pipe. The water flows or goes into the pipe. Nokha. The water goes into the pipe, then where does it go? What does it go into? Correct. Okay, the water goes into the water filter. Water goes into the water filter. All right. So remember, we are just telling the story. So when you get one of these, if in a test, first of all, you are looking for the story, okay, or what this is telling you. After the water goes into the water filter, then where does it go? It goes into the storage, goes into the storage. Okay, then after it goes into the storage, Kian.
Storage
Goes to where?
Water treatment.
Correct, goes into the water treatment, okay? While it is in the water treatment, what happens to it? What happens to it when it's in water treatment? Chemicals. Chemicals get, can anyone tell me the word? Chemicals get, begins with A. Chemicals get A. A-D. No? A-D-D. Added. Added. Chemicals get added to the water. Okay, added just means chemicals get put in. Chemicals get put in, added to the water. Okay, next thing that happens. Meng Nok. What happens next? What happens here? Meng Nok? Sorry? Almost. The water goes into the pipe, okay, or continues into the pipe. All right. And then Vietnam, what happens next? Yes, correct. Okay, the water comes out of the tap in the house as drinking water. Okay, so let me summarize the story again. The water, the rain, falls on the roof of the house. It flows into the drain. Okay, it goes into the drain through the pipe into the water filter. Okay, from the water filter, it goes into storage. From storage, it goes through another pipe okay, into water treatment where chemicals are added. Then it goes from water treatment, okay, back to the house where it comes out of the tap as what? As drinking water. Okay, so that is the story. So you can see it's actually, while you might look at this and say, oh, this is really complicated, it's not. Okay, it is just telling a simple story. All of these diagrams will tell stories. So let's have a look now at what Liz has done as her band 9 answer. Okay. Noctu, can you please read the first line? Okay, good reading. I'll get you to do it again, Noctu, and I'll get you to project your voice to me a little bit. By the way, because I am here with you now, by the way, face to face, I'm also practicing speaking with you at the same time as we are practicing a writing exercise. So I'm actually going to ask you to do things like speak up to me, which means to not just speak louder, but also to speak more clearly. I'll be listening for your pronunciation, and I also want you to be able to project your voice so I can hear it clearly. Okay, like I hope you can. You hear my voice? Be it down the back there, good. Because now I am projecting to you. I'm not talking this. Okay, I am putting my voice out. Okay, so I want you to practice that when you're talking to me during this class. All right, this is a great chance while I am here for you to practice doing this, because this will be very useful when you're doing the speaking test to be able to speak like this. Helps you speak more clearly, and if you speak more clearly, of course, you will get a better mark. Okay, so one more time, please, Noctu. Can you project your voice to me? Remember, I am a little bit deaf. Okay, I'm like your granddad. All right, can't hear very well. Okay. Okay, better. Okay, so you can see, of course, this is a paraphrase, and it's a paraphrase of this. All right, so you can see they've got, instead of shows, what word have they used instead of shows? Illustrates, correct. Okay, what word have they used instead of collected? Can you remember?
Process.
Process, correct. Thank you, Kian. They use process. So all they have done for this paraphrase, and remember, by the way, this is a band 9 paraphrase, and it is not complicated. Okay, all they have done is just use some synonyms. So remember, even to get a band 9, you don't have to think of anything complicated or difficult. Just remember, I've said often, keep it simple. KISS, K-I-S. Keep it simple. So they've said illustrates instead of shows. They've said process instead of collected. And the other thing they have done is they have changed the word order a little bit. Okay, so instead of saying collected for the use of drinking water in an Australian town, they've said how an Australian town processes rainwater to use as drinking water. Okay, so all they've done is change these two phrases around. That's all they've done. A couple of synonyms and change some of the word order. And this, like I say, is a band 9 answer. That's all you have to do. Use some synonyms, change the word order. Nothing complicated. Okay, next one. The overview paragraph. Okay, as you can see, they have started the overview paragraph with one of the recommended words. Okay. Bao Ming, what is the other way you could start this paragraph? Can you remember? What is the other words you use to start this paragraph? You can either say overall or it can be clearly seen that. Thank you. All remember that? Okay. It can be clearly seen that. Okay. And all they have done, you can see for the overview paragraph, is they have given a brief summary of the story. That's all you have to do. Fung Ni, can you read? Yeah. Can you please read the overview paragraph? Okay, good. Good reading. Of course you can. Of course you can, Kian. Okay, so does that make sense to everyone? All you can see, and again, I emphasize this is a band 9 answer. All they have done is written one sentence to tell the story of this. Okay, the rainwater is collected from the houses. Okay, it goes through the filter into storage. It is treated with chemicals. Okay, and then to make it fit for human consumption. So what has helped make this a band 9 answer is that they have used a more formal word like this. Okay, human consumption. Okay, if you wanted to make that simpler, darling, okay, what could you say? What does human consumption mean in this sentence? They make the water fit for what? Make the water fit for what? What do you do with the water? Drinking. Okay. And so instead of saying make it fit for drinking, they have said make it fit for human consumption. Consumption is just a more formal word of saying drinking. In fact, consumption means both eating and drinking. Okay. But to help make it a band 9, instead of, they could have said drinking, which would be fine, but to help them get band 9, they used a more formal word. So this is where you can use more formal words to get a better mark. But drinking would have been 5. If you want to get a band 7, drinking would have been 5. Okay, all they've done is said consumption. So you can see again, all they've done is written one sentence for their overview. And instead of saying it can be clearly seen that, they've said overall. Okay, this word here, I asked for a while. Here, things who've just come back. Here, what could you say they have used initially to start this sentence here, okay? What could you say instead of initially? What other word could you use? A synonym.
Yeah, no idea.
No idea? Ladies, instead of initially, what word could you say? Yes, firstly. Okay, firstly. But they have just shown that their vocabulary is quite good. They have used a different word. Instead of saying firstly, they said initially, which means exactly the same thing. Initially just means at the beginning. Firstly, okay? And then all they have done is tell the same story that I described to you before. Okay. Kakzo, can you please read all of this paragraph, please?
Everyone is down at the time into the rain at the water. Take out what the rain in the rainwater then passes along underground rain to the wildfire.
Okay, bit better. Okay, next time I'll get you to speak up, but good reading. Okay, again, you can see they are using very simple words to tell the story. Very simple words, nothing complicated here. The rain falls on the rooftop, collected by the gutter. Okay, the gutter. Okay, shall we? The gutter, okay, runs down the pipe at the side of the house into the drain at the bottom. Okay, and finally, one more paragraph. One more paragraph. Okay. Nokha, can you read the next paragraph, please? Actually, I will stop you there. Thank you. Okay, so this is the first word that maybe some of you haven't come across before. Impurities. Can you guess, Nokha, from the context, what impurities means? Can you give me a synonym? Correct. Good. Okay, you can guess straight away from the context. Impurities just means dirt. Okay, things that are not pure. Okay, impurities. Okay, so again, this is why this answer would get a band 9, because it is using just a more formal synonym for dirt. Okay, impurities. Okay, please keep going.
Continues along pipe to a storage tank. From this point, the water goes from the storage to the water treatment. At this stage of the process, the water is treated with chemicals in order to make it fit for consumption.
Okay, and what did we say consumption means? Correct, good.
The water is ready for drinking, follows along pipe that leads to back into the houses in the town where people can use the water for daily consumption.
Good. Okay. So the only thing, very good reading. The only thing I would criticize with this, they've used consumption twice. Okay. Maybe should have thought of another word, but still okay to get band 9. All right. So impurities, if you want to add a word to your vocabulary, impurities just means dirt. Okay. Something that is not pure. If you have some impurities in your water, it is dirty. Okay. Meng Nok. The other thing you might have noticed about this answer is the tense. Always when we are writing, describing graphs and tables and charts, we write in what tense?
Past tense.
Past tense. But you will notice that this is written in what tense? It is written in present tense. Okay, so that is the other thing to remember. With diagrams or process, you describe them in present tense. And that is because, of course, you are not writing about something that happens in the past. You are writing about something that happens now. Okay, so always present tense. Okay, for process diagrams. Are there any questions about this? Any questions? Okay, so very simple. To summarize, okay, you still use POP to answer these questions. Paraphrase, overview, to detail paragraphs. You are not using any numbers, of course. All you are doing is telling a what? A story. You are just telling the story from beginning to end. That's all you are doing, describing the story. And like I said here, band 9 answer, you just need one sentence for your overview. One sentence. Okay, so now we're going to look at a slightly more complicated one. This is more complicated because, okay, it is this. All right, it gives you 2 pictures. You might get one of these. Okay, this is a 2-picture one, little bit more complex, but it is still the same process that you have to do. Okay, you're still using POT, you are still telling a story. It's just that the diagram or the process itself is a little bit more complicated. All right, okay. So, can you please read me not to the title of this? Okay, good. Who haven't I asked for a while? Feng Ling. Sorry, I look at the wrong person. Feng Ling, can you, off the top of your head, okay, give me a quick paraphrase of this title? If you were going to write this down, what would you write? This or these diagrams. What was it? What is your next word?
What?
Describe. Yeah, good. You have to say diagrams, of course, because there are 2 of them. So you cannot say this diagram. You have to say these diagrams. There are 2 of them. These diagrams describe what? Yeah, the process. Okay, what word could you use instead of see? Good. Okay, there's your first paraphrase. What word could you use instead of generate as a paraphrase, as a synonym?
Create.
Simple word, even. Instead of generate. Very simple word. Create. Thank you. Create is one. Make is another one. Okay. These diagrams show or describe or illustrate how to make or create electricity from the ocean. Okay. Or I could change the word order around a little bit. These diagrams illustrate how you can use the sea to what? To what? Farming? Great, good. Okay, all you do, change the word order around. Get yourself a band 9 answer. Okay, these diagrams illustrate how you can use the sea to create electricity. Right? Or another way of saying electricity. Anyone tell me another way of saying electricity? Think of a synonym for this. Energy. Yes, excellent. Very good. Band 9, Maka. Okay, good. All by just doing that. Okay, just a few synonyms, change the word order. Okay, all you have to do. All right. So, of course, we have to look at the story of this. Sorry, what's your name again? Okay. What is the first part of the story? Can you tell me? The first part of the story of this. The waves go into the, what is this? Good, chamber, okay? Chamber, by the way, is another word for room, all right? But it's a more technical word for room, okay? So the waves go into the chamber, okay? All right, knock 2, next part of the story. What happens? The waves go into the chamber. What happens next? So you can see it's not the waves that go into the turbine. This is pronounced turbine, by the way. But what? It is this. Air. Okay. So can everyone understand the story of this? Okay. Shall we? Can you understand the story of this? So the wave, okay, comes into the chamber and you can see it pushes the air, okay, pushes the air up into the turbine. What happens to the turbine, shall we? It spins. Okay, very good. It spins. It goes around. Okay, and as the turbine spins and goes around, what happens, Kakzum? What happens? When the turbine spins, what happens? Very good. Okay, you're telling the story very well. The turbine spins, makes electricity. So again, you can see while this looks a little bit complicated because there are 2 diagrams, again, the story is actually very simple once you start looking at each simple part of it. So that is diagram 1. What is different, though, about diagram 2? This is where it gets a little bit more interesting. Okay. Michael. Okay, what has happened here? What is the first difference you can see between the 2 diagrams? The wave has gone out, okay, which means what is happening to the air? Correct. Correct. Right. Okay. So does this make sense, ladies? All right. So this time, this diagram shows the wave has gone out. Okay. As the wave goes out, the air comes back down through here. All right. But the turbine is still spinning. Okay, Viet Ang? The turbine is still spinning, still making electricity. Okay. So this is quite a clever way of making electricity from the sea. All right. The wave comes in, pushes the air up through the turbine, turbine spins, wave goes back out again, okay, air comes down, turbine still spinning, okay, so the wave makes electricity going both ways. Does everyone understand that? So that is the story that this diagram is saying, or these 2 diagrams are saying. All right, so if you get 2 diagrams like this, don't be confused or don't think, oh no, this is really complicated. Okay, again, it will be telling just a simple story. Okay, and the story in this case is how it generates electricity by the wave going in and out of the chamber. Okay, so I will go past all of this because this is all the simple stuff. Go down to the answer. Okay, you can see their paraphrase here. All right, who hasn't read for a while? Viet Ang. Viet Ang. Yeah, can you please read their paraphrase, okay, of the introduction? Okay, good. The diagrams actually, Viet Ang, can you read that again, please? But I will get you to speak up louder so I can hear you.
No, so first of all,
Good, thank you. Again, you can see the paraphrase, very simple. The diagrams below show. They just said show. Very simple word. A structure that is used to generate electricity, or we could have said create electricity, like Kian suggested, using wave power, from wave power. Okay, again, very simple. Thank you, Viet Ang. Meng Nok, you're next. Can you please read the overview paragraph?
Creating electricity from the force of waves using a specific column designed man-made construction.
Okay, so that was still part of the introduction. So this word here, specifically, something that is specifically is something that is especially designed to do one thing. Okay, a coffee machine is made specifically to make coffee for you to drink. Okay, a motorcycle is made specifically for you to ride. Okay, specifically just means something is made for a particular purpose, one purpose. That's all specifically means. You don't need to use this word, by the way. You can still get a band 9 without using this word, but it's quite a useful word to know if you want to improve your vocabulary. All right. Again, I will go very quickly through this because I want you to start writing soon with the diagram I'm going to show you. Okay. So all they have done here, and they haven't started with overall, or it can be clearly seen that, but they should have, okay? All they have done is describe, okay, just the overall look of the structure. All right, saying this structure has been created, okay, to use wave power to generate electricity through a turbine. Okay, that's all you would have to say for the overview. Something like that. Does that make sense, Alan? Okay, good. All right. So I won't go on with the rest of that. What I'm going to get you to do now is to do your own one, which is this. Has everyone got something to write on, by the way? Okay. So what you're going to do now, and I will come around and check, is write an answer.
Nói xong nó lại quên ngay.
Okay, so I know this is a little bit hard to see. I know. Okay. All right. So we're going to do this bit by bit. Okay. So the first thing you are going to do, of course, is write the first paragraph, which is what, Kian? What is the first paragraph for this? Correct. Okay. Feng Ling, what is it a paraphrase of?
What?
Yeah, the first paragraph is a paraphrase. Okay. A paraphrase of what? Correct. Okay. That is your first paragraph. So can everyone please just write the first paragraph? Okay. You don't need to see the diagram for this. Okay. You are just going to paraphrase the title using the ways that I suggested. Okay. Synonyms. Okay. Change the word order. Shall we? Did you get wet getting home last night? Or did you last night? Did you get wet? Yeah.
No.
I didn't get wet. So the rain had finished. Okay. Well, good. That's good. I was thinking about you, shall we? About you in the rain and your mum. Okay, everyone, this shouldn't take you too long. All right, going to get everyone to read out to me your paraphrase. Okay. I will start with you, Darlene. Are you ready yet? It's all right. You just wait. Oh, in fact, the others can still write one word. Okay, darling. Okay. Remember, I'm a little bit deaf, darling. Okay, so you have to project your voice to me. Okay, please read again, darling.
The diagram demonstrates how humans make recycled paper.
The diagram demonstrates how humans, you say, make recycled paper. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Good, it makes sense. Okay, Charlie.
The diagram illustrates the process of creating recycled paper.
Okay, so you used illustrated. Okay, that is past tense. Illustrate. Ah, sorry, it sounded. I get you to read it again. Then remember, I'm a little bit deaf. All right, so you have to speak up to me. To me, it sounded like illustration. Okay, read it again, please.
The diagram illustrates the process of creating recycled paper.
Okay, still sounds like you're saying illustrated to me. Can you say illustrates?
Illustrates.
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 Yeah, good.
Yes, I read it right.
I understand. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's fine. So good. Okay. One more time, please, for me, so I can hear you.
The diagram describes the process of how to create recycled paper.
Great. The diagram describes the process of how to create recycled paper. Excellent. Pony. Band 9. Okay. Aha. The process of how to make use paper. Of how to it's make used paper is not quite the same as recycling. Okay. The diagram illustrates the process of how to reuse paper would be a better one. Thank you for being patient, but I'll get to you in a moment. All right. You could say this, not hard. Okay, can you see that not hard? Can you read that for me, please? Yeah, make reusable paper. They don't make used paper. It isn't the same. Has to be reused. Okay. Well, how reusable paper, yeah, becoming new. Not quite right. The diagram illustrates how reusable paper becoming new. Easier to say the diagram illustrates how to reuse paper. Is probably better. How to reuse. Okay. Okay, Kian.
Oh. This diagram below demonstrates how used paper are recycled.
How used paper is recycled. Is recycled. Okay, good.
The diagram illustrates how people recycle.
The diagram illustrates how people make recyclable paper. Not. The diagram illustrates how reusable paper is created. The diagram illustrates how to make recyclable paper. Yes, good. Shall we? The diagram shows the Not sure if that's correct. Say it again.
Method, M-E-T-H-O-R. Method. M-E-T-H-O-D.
The method. Method. The diagram shows the method of using recycled material. What was the word after the method of producing? Okay. Have to be a little bit careful with your pronunciation, John. Okay. Teach you just a couple more times. This diagram shows the method of using recycled material. Good, much better. I have to hear you very clearly next time. That's right. Thank you. Yes.
Diagram illustrates the process of how to generate renewable.
How to generate. Good. Okay, excellent.
The diagram we want to check that process is completely recycled.
Good. Okay, well, I think you don't need the diagram shows the process of how to make. They don't need to remake. Okay, so how to make. How to make recycled paper. Okay, is all you need. The diagram shows the process. Right, so the diagram shows the process of how to make recycled paper. Is all you need to say. Okay, very simple. Okay, last one. The diagram illustrates how to create recycled paper. Okay, everyone did pretty well. Any questions? All right, so you can see, as I said before to Nokhara, I think it was, or from me, okay, your answers were band 9 level for that, just by using a few synonyms, okay, and maybe changing the word order a little bit. Okay, it doesn't have to be complicated or difficult. All right, so now we get into the interesting part, which is telling the story. All right, and I know a little bit hard to see, so we'll go through it bit by bit. I'll make it bigger so you can see. I'll get you to tell me the story first before we write about it. Okay. Starts at this end for a change. What is the first thing that happens? Good, that's good. Okay, that's all I want. The used paper is transferred on a conveyor belt. Okay, everyone understand this? Okay, this is the conveyor belt. All right, I'm sure all of you have seen conveyor belts. It's just a moving belt goes along. Okay, you put things on. Okay, and the belt keeps moving because it is driven by a machine. Okay, so the used paper is transported, is another word, on the conveyor belt. Okay, not to what happens next to the paper. Okay, the paper goes into the water chemicals. Okay, and this process is also called what? Pulp. Okay, pulp. Pulp is how you pronounce this word. Pulp, by the way, is what happens when you wet newspaper, okay, and you make it into a small ball. All right, I'm sure you've all seen this. When newspaper gets wet, it goes into a ball. Okay, that's called pulp. Okay, so the newspaper gets made into pulp using the chemicals. Kak Zung, what happens next? It's transferred. Good word, Kak Zung. Yeah, transferred. Transferred through a what? What does this look like? What is this? It's a filter. You can see here. Okay, this is the filtering part of the process. It gets transferred through a filter. Okay, transferred through a filter. I'm not sure what this is. Okay, but I do know what this is. Okay. Bao Ming. Okay. It gets transferred through a filter into a what? Water and soap tank. Or what does this look like to you? Begins with B. Bath. Yeah. Okay. You can say it gets transferred into a bath full of water and soap. Okay. What happens, Viet Ang? What happens to the paper in this bath? It gets what? Yes, it gets cleaned. Okay. So going back to the story, the paper is transferred on the conveyor belt into chemicals where it is filtered and then cleaned in a bath of water and soap. Okay. Jawi. Okay. What happens next? Whoops, sorry. After it's been cleaned, what happens to it? Correct. Goes into a chamber of water and chemicals. That's good, Jawi. You remember the correct word, a chamber. Okay, a chamber of water and chemicals. Viet Ang. What happens next? Sorry, Viet Ang, I can't hear you. Okay, it goes onto a conveyor belt. All right, it goes onto a conveyor belt, but then what happens to it when it goes onto the conveyor belt? Ming Nok. Can you see? You have no idea. Okay. Can you see Ming Nok or not? Okay, so it's gone into the chamber, or what is that? What is another word for this, by the way, Mignok? It's a chamber or a word that begins with T. T. That holds liquid. T. Yes, tank. Okay, so you can also use the word tank for this. Tank or chamber. Tank or chamber is correct. Okay, who's next? What happens next? Okay, so we are talking about the pulp here. All right, remember it got turned into pulp way back here. The paper got turned into pulp, which is wet paper. It's been cleaned. Okay, it's gone into chemicals. It goes onto the conveyor belt. Then what happens to it? What is this? Okay. Okay. It gets heated and rolled here. When it gets heated and rolled, what happens to it?
It's going to recycle
Before that, what's happening here? What is all this?
conveyor belt
No, what is this? All this part here.
one.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think it's water.
When it gets heated and rolls, what happens to the water?
Yes,
Can anyone tell me the word? Begins with SQ. What happens to the water? SQ. The water gets squeezed. Yes. The water gets squeezed out. Okay. When the pulp goes through the water and chemicals, goes onto the conveyor belt where there are rollers. Okay. Rollers squeeze the paper, the pulp, okay, squeeze the water out, which is what this is. Okay. So then you end up with this roll here, okay, of dried paper and dried recycled paper. All right. So does everyone understand the process now? I'll get you to describe it from the start. Knock up. Let's do this again. Knock up. Yes. Yeah. It's okay. You can suggest answers. Chris, good. Yeah. And into, good. Into.
Michael, can I have one?
Sorry, I'll wait.
Thank you.
I'm fine. Thank you. Okay. Actually, Mrs. Hart, can I get everyone to sit down, please? They can get a drink soon. But it's hard to try to do it if everyone's getting up and down and getting drinks all the time.
Okay.
Okay, everyone sit down, please. We'll have drink time soon. Okay, otherwise it's very disruptive if everyone gets getting up and down one at a time getting drink. Okay, so we will stop for drinks shortly. And we can all get a drink at the same time. So, sorry, knock hard. Can you start again? Conveyor. Yep. Into the water chemicals. Good. Okay. Good. For me, what happens next? It goes through. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay. Into. Yes. What is it? What is in the bath? Good. Okay. All right. What happens next? Tell me. Transferred into a tank of. Yeah, and
It was, we transferred into a color drawing beginning.
good. Then what happens next?
The speed out for water.
Yeah, and then good, very good. Okay, good. That is the process. Okay, all of you, please write your overview for this now. Okay, you need to write an overview. Remember, the overview is a summary of the whole process that we have just seen. I will make it a little bit smaller so you can see the whole thing, but, oops. I know it's very small, but because I have got you to describe it for me, you should be able to do this almost from memory. I want them to be able to see the whole diagram. Okay, should be able to do this in 2 sentences. And I want everyone to start their paragraph, of course, with the correct introduction, which I'm sure you all know by now, and I don't have to remind you. Okay, then after we finish this, then we can all stop for it. Thank you for the coconut, Mrs. Okay, 2-sentence overview paragraph, where all you're doing is telling the story simply. Okay, shall we? I'm going to start with you. Okay, 1 more minute, everyone. This shouldn't take long. We've gone through this a couple of times now, so you should be able to tell the story. I know, sorry, it's a little bit hard to see. So remember the word for this, where you can see water chemicals. This is a tank, okay, or container or chamber, any of those words. Okay, this one here again is a bath or a tank. You can use the word tank. Okay, again, another tank container. All right, these are rollers. I know it's hard to see. Okay, Jawi, are you ready? Okay, same voice you used to me before, Jawi. Okay.
Looking up.
Okay, sorry, I will stop you there. How are you supposed to start this paragraph? How are you? What words do you use to start this paragraph?
Overall, overall, the includes four sections.
Yes.
The first section is looking up, then featuring, cleaning, and the last section is looking paper.
Okay, a little bit too simple, maybe. You have to describe it in a little bit more detail. Okay, but that is not bad. It's not bad. Okay, that's good that you identified the 4 steps. That's great. Okay, Vietnam. Okay, Vietnam, what is the first words you should use? Yes. Okay, overall, making paper or recycling paper has 4 steps. Overall, making paper or recycling. Okay, that's fine. All right. Me.
Is it my turn? Yes.
You.
Yes. It can be clearly seen that the process concludes 4 steps, with the first one being making pulp by transferring used paper into one chemical.
Yeah.
Then it goes into the second step, which is filtering. The first step is cleaning. It goes through water and soap bath. Then it goes into a water and chemical chamber. And with the fourth step is making paper, goes through the real belt and it was the water freeze to heat rollers.
Okay. You have the opposite problem from Zhao Wei. Yours is too long. Okay. All right. His Zhao Wei's was a little bit short. Okay. Yours is like the detail paragraphs. Okay. So you need to just shorten that down. All right. You've done the detail, but you're speaking well.
Yes.
Okay. I think you're very clear. Okay.
This is a bit hard.
I know. But that's good. Okay. Okay, again, a little bit long. Okay, you can say some of that for the detail. But we only need 2 sentences. So it is good. Yeah, but this is long. Once you have done this, wasn't there the detail going? You've already done it. Okay, so yeah, so it just needs to be a little. What happened?
Overall, the school is a transfer the to the water tables and then being filtered and being finally it's in being separated before use.
Okay, not bad. It's probably best to talk about, as the others have, the 4 steps. Overall, or it can be clearly seen, there are 4 steps to making recycled things. And then you do a very simple problem. Okay, all right. So you have to be able to finish in this mark. If this was the real exam, you would only have a few minutes. Well, tell me.
Overall, I think the treatment of these people and the chance to use
Okay. You might not have heard over here, what she said was you use the word stages. Okay, remember steps and stages are synonyms. Okay, so you can talk about 4 steps, 4 stages, either one. Okay. Darling.
the first is the southeast paper, Judy's paper transfer to the grounds that to make up those water uniform, that those water uniform to make up the original to water and salt to clean the farmer's system. selected on a level to produce.
Okay, a little bit more. All right, remember it should only be 2 sentences for this. All right, because you are not describing all the detail now, you were just giving a summary. A summary. Where did I get up to here? Ming Nok, was it you?
Will be filtered and clean. Temperature extinguished by it's about 3,000.
Okay, good. That's fine. That's fine. What happened? You have an idea. Okay. Okay, good. Good lead. Okay, good. Here.
Overall, they are forced to recycle paper. First one is looking for filter big bit and tools are cleaning with water, soap, and chemicals. And the final one is with the water out and come recycle it.
Okay, the final step. The final step is squeezing the water out. 2 minutes.
To recycle it.
Good. Okay, that's good. Good, good. That's good. Good lead. Okay.
And making paper. Begin the process is changes by open your bell and then go to water chemicals and feel positively. They are clean by clean air and water.
Okay. Already too long. Not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember you're just looking, the summary should just be overall, or it can be clearly seen, there are 4 steps to making recycled paper. The paper is cleaned, filtered, okay? And then, remember this is just the summary. What you were saying there is good, but you use that for your detail. Okay, so the water is, has chemicals added, is filtered, it is cleaned, and then it is rolled, and the water is squeezed out and made into recycled paper. Okay, and finally, capital.
Overall,
Okay, good mate. Okay, all right. That was fine, everyone. So those of you who were a bit long, okay, just remember that the overview is a summary. Okay, a summary. So the main thing to look at for a diagram like this is you can see how many steps there are. So all you need to do is say you can overall making recycled paper has 4 steps in 4 stages. Okay, the paper is cleaned, filtered, has chemicals added, and then is rolled into recycled paper. All right, that's all you have to say, something like that. Something like that. Remember, just 2 sentences. Okay, everyone. So we'll have a quick break now. Anyone wants to get a drink? You can get one now. Okay. Yeah. How do you like being in this class? Yeah. Do you like being in this class? Yeah. Doing fine.
Rồi các bạn nói các bạn tự làm cho con.
Okay, you don't want to drink? So you don't want to drink? Oh. Okay, everyone, can we sit down, please? We'll start again shortly. Only got 40 minutes to go. So much fun, the time goes very fast.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, everybody. So, phones away, please. Everyone put their phones away. Otherwise, I will get Mrs. Carr to collect them. Yeah. Okay, 10 seconds, everyone. All right. Going to give you a quick talk now about this. Okay, why do IELTS students get anxious? All right, so everybody gets anxious, of course, when they are taking an exam. It is perfectly natural. It would be very strange if you didn't get anxious. What I'm just going to tell you now for the next 5 minutes is give you some suggestions to help you manage your anxiety. Okay, so like I say, everyone gets anxious or nervous or a bit stressed when they are taking a test. Okay, so it's important, okay, to be able to manage this. All right, because if you are too anxious or nervous, you won't perform at your best. You won't be able to think of the vocabulary you need. You will forget the structure you need. Okay, everyone, concentrate, please. Okay, no more talking or passing things around while I'm talking. Okay, these are some of the things that make students anxious. All right, which I'm sure you already know. Some students feel they haven't done enough preparation. Okay, all right. Some people feel that they need to get a certain score. Okay, that makes people anxious. If they want to get a 7 or 8, for example, they get very worried. Some people think that their parents or their family will be unhappy if they don't get a certain score. These are all the things that make you a bit anxious. But actually, having a little bit of anxiety, which is the noun, is good, okay? Because it can help you focus. It can help motivate you to do better. So having a little bit of stress, a little bit of anxiety is good. Helps make you study a bit harder. So if you're feeling a little bit anxious, like I say, perfectly normal, and that's fine because it can help motivate you to get a better score. All right. So I will go very quickly to ways to help you manage your anxiety, because this is the important part. So point number 1, all right, you need to be familiar with the format of the test, which is something that I've mentioned to you many times, and you should all be very familiar with how the test works and how the structures work. So you all know that writing task 1, for example, you have how many minutes to do writing task 1? 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes to do writing task 1. How many minutes to do writing task 2? 40 minutes, okay? So you all know how the test works, all right? So that's the first thing, to help you reduce your anxiety, to know exactly how the test works. When you go into the exam room, you know the examiner is going to introduce themselves, okay? You know the examiner is going to ask you some short questions about yourself. So as long as you know what the process is, what the procedure is, this can help reduce your anxiety. It's when things are unfamiliar or you're not sure what's going to happen that you have the problem. All right. So the next thing is to remember your strategies. So you, in the exercise we've just looked at, the process diagram or the details, okay, you know your strategy is to use POT, okay, for any task 1 question. You know your strategy for the details or process is to tell the story. Okay, you know that's what you're going to have to do. You know you're going to have to write how many paragraphs, not two, for task one. Writing task one, how many paragraphs? Four paragraphs, okay? So you know that. So again, you just need to remind yourself, be familiar with the structures. Okay. All right. When you do a practice test, okay, when you do a practice test, you need to look at these things, okay? Instead of saying something like, oh, that was terrible. I can't do this at all. Look at, first of all, one, the things that you need to do to improve, okay? Don't beat yourself up and say, oh, no, I'm terrible at this. I'm not going to get a good score. Just focus instead on looking at one or two things that you need to improve and work on them. Then you move on to the next things that you need to improve. But it's important too, and that's why Mrs. Ha and I keep giving you the practice tests every month or so, okay, to get used to taking the test. All right. And then if you feel you did badly at the test, or you look at my comments and you think, okay, this is what I need to improve, just work on one or two things at a time. Okay. And the most important thing, I think, for doing any test, not just the Ielts, is don't focus on what is the end result. Okay. I'll explain a little bit more about this. For example, if you think, oh, I really need to get a 7 because I want to get into this school or this university, I must get a 7. Okay. And that makes you more anxious because you think, what if I don't get a 7? I can't do this course. I can't go to this school. Okay. Forget about that because that just makes you anxious. You focus on, I'll write this down, the process, not two. Okay, you focus on the process of how to get there, not to. I'm just using you as an example. If you, for example, are going to take a penalty in soccer, okay, you don't think, when I played football, this is what I thought, you don't think about if I get this goal, it's going to win the game, fantastic. But if I don't get this goal, we're going to lose the game, okay, because that is too much pressure. What you do, you focus on the process. Okay, so for example, taking a penalty, okay, you get the ball, okay, you put it on the spot, okay, you know what you are going to do to take the penalty. You think in your mind, okay, I'm going to focus on the ball, okay, I'm going to take 3 or 4 steps back, okay, decide, then I'm going to do my usual run up, and I am going to put the ball in this part of the net. Okay, so you are not thinking about what is going to happen after all that, like I'm going to win the game, I'm going to lose the game. Okay, all you're doing is focusing. Yeah, focus on the present. Okay, the things that you need to do right then to make something happen. I was talking to you a little bit about this the other night, I know, Charlie. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is don't focus on the result. All right, focus on the processes that you need to make something happen. An example about this that is not about football, all right, is the structure of writing task 2 essays. All right, when you get a writing task 2 topic, you don't look at it and you think, oh my God, I don't know anything about this, I'm not going to get my 7. Okay, forget about that. Focus on the structure. So, for example, writing task 2, the first thing you look at, of course, is what type of essay is this? How many different types of essays are there? How many? There are 5. There are 5 different types of essays. Okay, so the first thing you just go through your processes one stage at a time. Okay, there are 5 different types of task 2 essays. Okay, what type of essay is this? Okay, now I know what type of essay this is. It's an opinion, it's an advantage, disadvantage, it's a discussion, whatever. Okay, what is the structure for this essay? The first paragraph, the first sentence is always a paragraph. Okay, the next sentences is always going to be a summary of your main points. Your main body paragraph in And advantage, disadvantage is that it's going to be the first main body paragraph is going to be about disadvantage. Okay? Second main body paragraph is going to be about not hard. And the advantage, disadvantage is like if your first paragraph is going to be about disadvantage, close the second paragraph. Yes, correct. Advantage. Okay, so you're following the process. So you follow the processes that we practice in these classes. In a way, not to, this is just a bit like a sports practice. Okay, we are learning the different steps. Okay, so one way, like I say, of making you feel less anxious is to forget about the end result. Just go through each step that is practice. Okay, and then once you go through each step as we practice, suddenly the essay is finished. Okay, and you're done. Okay, so that is the way to help reduce your anxiety. Just focus on the steps, or the stages, on the processes that we practice in these classes. Speaking task 2. Okay, sorry, speaking part 2. Okay, you know you have 1 minute to prepare. I've told you in previous lessons to try and focus on some experience. So you know straight away when you see a topic or part 2 speaking, okay, straight away you're trying to think of what experience can I bring to this? And you talk about the experience. Okay, and before you know it, 2 minutes is gone past. Okay, so you are not focusing on the fact that, oh, I have to talk for 2 minutes, and I have to talk really well to get a band 7. You are just focusing on what experience do I need to think about, how am I going to talk about this experience that connects to this topic. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes. Okay, good. So this is just how to reduce your anxiety. Very hard to make anxiety go away altogether or stress. And in fact, like I say, you don't want to, because you need some anxiety or some stress to motivate you to perform. Okay, you need some, but of course you don't need too much. So just trust and practice your process. Once you know all the processes, you just work through all the processes, and the result will take care of itself. Does this make sense to everyone? I hope this helps.
Yeah.
And this is not just for IELTS, this is for any test, like your maths test, your physics test, your chemistry test, your Vietnamese literature, whatever. Focus on the processes that you have practiced. Don't worry about the result. The result will, like I say, look after itself at the end. Okay, so now we're going to do some speaking for the next 30 minutes. And we're going to do it by, first of all, looking at this video. What we're going to look at is a little bit of word formation. All right. Why this is important, because the more you know about how words are formed, I know this might seem like I'm going back to basics for some of you, but it's important to remember this. The more you know about how words are formed, then it will help you improve your vocabulary, or will help you recognize words when you are doing the reading test or the listening test and you are not sure what a word means. If you know how words are formed, it can help you guess the meaning of words. Okay, much more easily than if you don't know how the words are formed. So I'm going to go on now with this video, and we will do some practice as we go. Okay.
Thank you very much for being here watching my new video. Would you like to improve your vocabulary while learning negative prefixes in English? Today, we are going to discuss more negative prefixes and how to use them in order to expand our vocabulary and why not?
Okay, so she is Spanish, by the way. Her accent is Spanish, which I know is maybe a little bit hard for you to understand. So I will help translate for you. So we're learning 4 negative prefixes. Okay, 4 negative prefixes. How to make words that are positive into negative. All right.
It is a one-letter circle in front of words to change their meanings. For example, correct, incorrect. To type the letters I and put them in front of the word correct, type the wrong word and this the word is incorrect. Incorrect means that it is not correct. So I and with a negative prefix that means no or not.
Okay, in she's talking about is a negative prefix that means what did she say? No or not. Okay, in. So whenever you see in front of a word, you know it means no or not, is what she is saying.
We're going to look at today is IN. It goes in front of word that starts with the letter N. I think we don't know. What challenge? Word is used to express that something is impossible or almost impossible to be because of being very untidy or not clean.
Okay, anyone tell me the answer to this question?
Illegible.
Illegible. Correct. Illegible. Okay. So IL is the first prefix we are looking at. IL is a negative prefix. Okay. If you have it in front of something, okay, it makes the word into a negative. Okay. So something that is impossible to read because it is untidy or not clear is what? What is the word? Illegible. Illegible. Okay. Something that is illegible. Okay. It starts with the letters IL. Go away.
Not sure. Immature. Possible. Impossible. What challenge? What word would you use to express that something is not perfect?
Okay, not asking Bao Ming this time. Ladies, what is the word? Imperfect. Thank you. Imperfect. Okay, something that is not perfect. So okay, is a negative, is negative prefix. Sorry, negative prefix. You see the word in front of something, okay? It means the opposite. Okay, gentlemen, what is the word? Not you. You know, I know. Okay, which word do you use to describe the action of not thinking enough or not worrying about the possible results of what you do? Kian?
Irresponsible.
Irresponsible, thank you. Irresponsible. Again, IR makes responsible into a negative. Irresponsible. Incorrect. Okay.
About the reading are those who know a lot about words. I mean, they know more about the multiple meanings,
Benjamin Carter and Edward David Willis. In our countries, we have narrative, illogical or illegal, impolite, immoral, immature, impossible, irrelevant, irregular, inexpensive, invisible, incomplete.
Okay, everyone, so quick speaking practice now. I want you to pick one of these words, okay, any one of these words, and give me a sentence. Okay, I'm going to go around each of you. So any one of these words, all right, and put it in a sentence. All right, you have 10 seconds to think about this. All right, now we're going to start with
The story my friend is talking about is not is emerging about our family.
Can you say that again, please? Yeah. Gonna stand over here. I want you to remember, I want you to speak up too, okay? No, no, you can say, I'm standing. I just want you to speak.
The story my friend is talking about is irrelevant about our public
Is irrelevant to,
to our public.
okay, the story my friend is talking about is irrelevant to my problem, which means it's not connected. Good. Okay. Harvey.
Children who are immature should not be encouraged to be less smart than
Children who are immature should not be encouraged to use their smart devices too much. Okay, for me.
fostering the storage, the academic food, because it is really expensive and
Good, excellent.
this will be impolite to smoke in the hospital.
It would be impolite to smoke in the hospital. Okay, good.
It's critical the devices on it's illegal to fly over 100,000.
Good. It's illegal to ride a motorcycle without a helmet either.
No, please don't call me. My rank class 2 is incomplete.
My,
Writing.
my writing class is incomplete. Good.
Within the plate from England by Google is important.
Can you say it again more clearly?
Meaning the current event by Google is important.
Winning the
Current event. Current event.
coding of it. Coding.
Current.
Winning the coding of it.
By Google.
Coding is impossible. Okay, hang on. Okay, can you do it now that it's starting? The gangster made many illegal trades. Yeah, the gangster made many illegal trades of heroin.
Heroin.
Oh, heroin. 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 Good. Okay, one more time, please. So all your pronunciations. Sure. Illegal. Have to make it easier. Okay. John, we.
It's impossible for me to run a movie. That's
Okay. Here are.
Theory about the world that is
The theory about the world being flat is illogical. Good. That's all. Can you say the same thing with this? It was impolite. Okay. Pens and paper are expensive. Maybe you have to use the negative one. Inexpensive. Pens and paper are inexpensive. Okay. What is the word you use? Irrelevant. Irrelevant. It is irrelevant to jump out of a plane without a parachute. It's not correct. Okay. Irrelevance doesn't mean that. You would have to say it is. Not impossible. You could jump out of a plane without a parachute. Not impossible. You wouldn't live, but it's not impossible. Okay. Irrelevant means it's something that is not connected to the topic you are talking about. Can you choose another one? Yeah, it is illogical. Maybe you jumped out of a plane without a parachute. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. Okay, everyone, please pay attention to this. Immoral. What does immoral mean?
Opposite meaning with moral.
Can anyone tell me what immoral means in English? Not sure? Gentlemen?
It's got positive meaning with moral.
It means,
Not formal.
sorry, not
Not formal.
formal. No, immoral, not quite right. Moral behavior is behavior, okay, that is good according to the standards of your culture. Okay, so for example, Vietnamese culture is quite conservative. So you could say maybe it is immoral, all right, to take drugs, for example. It's also illegal, okay, but also immoral, because immoral is against the standards of the culture. What is the difference between Fung Ni, can you please put your phone down? No phones, otherwise I will give it to Mrs. Hart. Okay, no phones in class, please. Kak Zon, no phones. Okay, so the difference between immoral and illegal, can anyone tell me that? Like I talked before, I used an example, drugs, okay? Drugs in Vietnam is immoral and illegal. What is the difference though between those two things? Why do I need to use both words? Correct. Yes. Immoral belongs to the culture. Okay, so yeah, so you're right. So taking drugs is illegal, of course, because it's against the law, but it's also immoral because it's against what your parents tell you, what society, Vietnamese society, what most society, of course, tell you. So something that is immoral, okay, is against the culture. Okay, to think that something is good value just because it is inexpensive. Okay. Okay, can anyone give me a synonym for illogical? A synonym for illogical? Nonsense. Yeah, nonsense. Silly, yeah. Logical is a substitute just for something like good sense or common sense. Okay, so it is against your good sense or against common sense to think that something, okay, is good value just because it is cheap. Okay, we all know that. Okay. Okay, everyone answer this question, please. Again, the speaking question. What would you do if you were invisible for a day? What would you do if you were invisible for a day? I'll start here this time. If you were, okay, I want to hear a proper English sentence. If I was invisible for a day, please start your sentences like this, okay? If I was visible for a day. Does that make sense? Not sure it's good English, but I'm not sure if the reason makes sense. If I was invisible for a day, I would stay inside and wait for my family to help me with their activities.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Okay, but the English made sense. Okay, that's fine. Not too. If I was. I would. Okay, that is immoral and illegal. Okay, Kakzon, but the English is correct. Kakzon. Okay. Okay. Good idea, Kakzon. Okay, Michael. Well, that's a good question. Maybe you couldn't. Okay, you're invisible. You can't see anything. Okay, but the English is correct. Okay, remember, I don't care about your answers. I want to hear the correct thing. Okay, if I was. Okay, good. Shall we? That's probably also immoral. Okay, maybe not. Okay, it's a very small thing. Okay. If I was invisible for a day, I would. Yeah.
No, if I was invisible for a day, I will come to the house of people that I hate and play something. Yeah, you know.
I would go to the house. I would go to the house of people that I
And
hate
they will know
and play some trick on
them.
them. Correct. Okay. Immoral too. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
If I was invisible for a day. Okay. Can we phrase that slightly so the English is correct? If I was invisible for a day, I would go somewhere expensive and to do what? Okay, you should be able to do this by now. Okay.
If I was visible for a day, I would go to places that need to place that I cannot go and display all things there.
That's a good idea. Yeah. If I was invisible for a day, I would go to places that have age limits. That's what you say. I go to places that have age limits. Okay. And do the things that they do there. Okay, that's good.
If I was invisible for a day, I would go to the cinema and restaurant without paying for it.
Good.
If I was invisible for a day, I would like to some grocery store and purchase things that I have never purchased before.
Okay, purchase them, you would just say, I would take them. Okay. Done.
If I was visible for the I would go to your place center to play again.
Right, very good. Okay, so remember what I'm hearing is the correct English. Okay, and the last thing we will do, oh, I see you packing up already. We will do one last speaking exercise, okay, because I'm face to face. This is a chance for me to all check your speaking at once. I will start with you, okay, darling. You won't have much time to think about this. If you had a superpower, okay, which one would you choose? Okay, so superpowers can be, we just discussed invisibility, okay, power to fly, okay, power to travel through time, okay, which one would you choose and why? Okay, you can choose one of those three or think of another one. Okay, but they are three superpowers, okay? One is to be invisible, okay? This is the last thing, before we get to it, this is the last thing we need to do. Okay, so to choose one of these three superpowers or another one, tell me why. Invisibility, I should say, sorry. Okay, being able to fly, okay, or travel through time. Travel through, go backwards or forwards, go into the past or into the future. Which one would you choose and why? Okay, one sentence. Darling.
If I would choose a superpower, I would choose power to fly because it's help me to fly quicker to my speed.
Okay, help me to fly more quickly. More quickly. Good, Chami.
And I can turn around work without any charge and along my way.
Okay, good English.
In the past, I was go back to the past and correct my mistake.
Okay, good, good English. Good.
Because it not only help me to fix my mistake past, but it's also helped me to see the future if I make the right decision.
Okay, good. Yeah, good English.
All I would choose that person I really want to do.
I don't want to wait for the traffic. Okay? I don't want to wait for the traffic, or I don't want to be stuck in the traffic jam. And either one of those is correct. Tia. If I had a superpower, I would choose.
If I have superpower, I would choose the power to travel through times because I can come back to the past and remake the things that make me regret up to now.
Okay, I would go back to the past. Okay, remember, if you are going to a place, you always use the word go. So like go back to the past. Okay, remember to when you are here, you use the word. What is the opposite of go?
Back.
No. You go. What is the opposite? Come. Come. Okay. You come here. You go there. Okay. I noticed that is a very common mistake with your English. Okay. You go to school. You come to class. Okay. If I had a superpower,
I
I would. Because
because I want to realize
okay, I want to correct my mistakes. Good. Me not.
Next. Choose teleporting. Yes. I think it's really interesting to change my at time and then teleport to the next stage of things.
Okay, good. Did you hear what she said? She said teleporting. Teleporting means being able to move from one place to another instantly. Okay, don't need to fly even. You can go straight from here to Ho Chi Minh or wherever. Okay, shall we? If I had a superpower.
I would choose the time. Yeah, I would love to relax. Take a moment and
Be it on.
take another time.
Okay, I can go back to the past. Okay, good. The rest is correct. Tommy.
The only single that if I have chance is only science. Because if I own the knowledge of the whole universe, maybe parallel, then I can do anything, create any superpowers that I want.
Okay, good answer. Thanks.
Stuff that can bring out the future thinking because if I have this superpower, I know what they are thinking. I can change my talk or my action.
Okay, very good idea. So the correct English would be, I would choose mind reading. Mind reading is the way to say that. Okay, instead of choose what other people are thinking, you say, I would choose mind reading because then I could see what other people were thinking. Very dangerous, maybe. I think. Doctor.
Our,
The power of
know everything I want, because when I know everything I want, so I can really to make money and nobody can beat me in the school or
Sure. Okay, so the correct English would be, I would choose the power of knowing everything. Is the way to say it. I would choose the power of knowing everything.
all the time.
Okay. All right, everyone, thank you very much. That's the end of the class for today. It was very lovely to see you all again. Okay, so I'm going back to New Zealand tomorrow. So our next lesson, this is half. So we will continue lessons throughout June, okay?
Không nghỉ cho mình vẫn học vào cuối tuần đúng không? Bởi vì ai cũng rất là cần thi, cho nên là tất cả các chủ nhật thì chúng mình kể là đi du lịch đâu đấy thì vẫn học bình thường mà nhá. Thì phía sau mình học online phải học online đúng cái độ giờ của chúng mình bình thường nhá. Người ta không có ôn nhá, đúng như vậy đúng là như thế ở là những người nó không sẽ
Okay, and for those of you who are doing the IELTS test soon, okay, for those of you who are doing the IELTS test soon, you can contact me for extra practice. Okay?
nghe thầy nói ra từ từ nào, bây giờ có nghĩa là bạn nào đăng ký lịch thi rồi thì thầy rất là lên để giúp đỡ các bạn, hiểu không nhỉ? Nên nếu mà giả như là trước khi các bạn mà thi thì các bạn có thể viết tự với mình để chủ động và viết thư cho thầy, không nhờ thầy cho thầy sẽ theo dõi cái học sinh của thầy. Bây giờ thầy cũng rất là các bạn rất nhiệt tình. Mình biết là các bạn nào học cách nghiêm túc, có nghĩa là viết thư thầy đồng chí hỏi một là trước khi thi là chúng mình nên tự viết bài mình gọi xong rồi gửi thầy điều được cho bài đã. Trước khi nó chắc ăn là một cái bài hầu các anh thích cái học là biết đấy, anh nói được vậy mà phải không sao cũng được, nhưng mà vẫn tự làm rồi không gửi thầy tự cho ít nhất phải bài để cho mình biết là hiện nào có điều được ba điều đúng không? Rất khá cũng hầu hết là phải điểm năm, có một hai anh là học năm thôi, học người là không phải là phải mà cao lắm đâu, nhưng mà đến sau lúc thi là miệng rất là ác. Và một cái hai là cái bài trước khi thi sẽ thầy sẽ online với các con một khoảng hai họ một hai buổi đến khoảng 3 buổi để cho chúng mình cái câu hỏi thi thử như thế nào đấy, xong rồi online thì thầy sẽ rất là dễ nhá. Ôi này chết rồi, chết rồi đấy. Ở trên các bạn để đi từ hai bên rất là nào này là chúng ta không có đúng không? Không sao. Đây đi không có gì đâu. Ok. Thế xong rồi là bây giờ chúng ta nào chủ động nhé, nó lớn hơn có ai phải cầm cổ luôn, các bạn thấy là không đi đâu đâu. Thì nhà về đi em đi chỗ đâu đâu ơi. Không biết anh cái này là con là đang không biết là cái này ôi này nhiều ấy, có nghĩa là hỏi người vai của mày. Cái nào sáng nào ăn này buổi tối. Tóm lại là bây giờ các cô đang học cái này học hết rồi cho từ năm có khoảng được 3 ngày đó có thể làm con này nhá. Cái đây ơi.
Con này mà
Không phải nói này. Vậy thì là rất nhiều đa phần rồi. Đa phần
Great to see you. Okay, look after yourself. Okay. 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 Bye-bye. I'll see you soon. Yeah, yeah. Thank you again. See you again soon.
khóa hỏi đi. Bạn đang ăn gì? Cô nhắc về. Cháo.
Thôi về đây vừa thắt thắt cầu.
Ok, bye bye con nhé.
See, nice to see you. Okay. We'll go somewhere. Okay, I hope we have a good week. Okay, see you next time. So, I look forward to that. I have to come forward. She explained to me already. Yeah.
Okay. So. Okay, all right. Yeah. And I think we'll ask you to give her like a speaking test.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's okay? Yeah, yeah.
Does she want to do?
Là mày cứ tự ra và nói với bé này cho nó không làm bài thi nó luôn nhé.
We didn't cut out procedure.
So I feel that so topic. Number 1, 2, 3, 2.
Yeah. All right, I will have, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are the scissors?
You want the scissors?